All right, we're back at the NRA
back,
2026, right?
Where we at?
H-Town.
I don't know where we at. H-Town, hold it down.
Hold it down. And we have an amazing guest that we've known for a couple years now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, a couple years.
Couple
years.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
at least.
In South Carolina.
It's been a while.
Anyhow, Serena, I would introduce you, but I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself because you're an all-around badass. And I'm really grateful that we got you in for this show because I've been wanting to interview you for a while.
Yeah.
I know Rob has too. And go ahead, let the people know about yourself.
Welcome in.
Well, I am grateful to be here with you guys. It's always a lot of fun when people have passion and energy for the same things, and
Yes.
to be able to share that, especially through media, is important.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
I'm Serena J. I've been writing in the industry for about 7-8 years across a number of different publications, doing marketing work as well. But I also started competing when I was about 14 or so.
Yeah.
So now I compete professionally in competitive high-power service rifle, which is 200, 300, and 600 yards with an AR-15.
Yep.
I shoot for Sierra bullets, Citron optics, and Krieger barrels.
Yep.
I also shoot some long range, some silhouette, and am pursuing my distinguished pistol shot badge. So all about getting people involved in marksmanship, shooting, the outdoors, hunt as well. I do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yep. And
We
hold on.
saw that.
Round
Get
of
some
applause
applause. Maybe some horns in there.
Yeah, I want to do some horns. We can't hear it.
Yeah,
No.
but there is sound effects though.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we don't do headphones because a lot of people don't like to hear
Yeah,
it.
they're like, hey,
yeah.
oh,
So I'm
wow,
glad.
what
It's a
happened?
lot better.
Very
Thank you.
conversational.
Look at that.
So, but okay, so you said a lot. There's a lot to unpack, and I want to start. I don't know. Where do you want to start?
Well, I was just gonna say, we've seen it every time we see you.
Yeah.
It's like we see this new layer of you doing something different.
Yeah.
Like we're just here a week ago. We're saying I can't believe it was a week ago.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
at the Selmark Ranch, hog hunting, shooting, and you were out there doing the media stuff too, which was cool to see.
So
Yeah.
shout out to Poma.
Shout out to
Kevin
Poma,
Reese at
Kevin
Selmark.
Reese, Selmark, Pulsar. We had a great time out
Yep.
there. Go ahead. No, go ahead. No, you go. No, you.
14 years old, you started competing?
Yeah.
Somewhere
I wanted
around
to ask
there.
about that.
It was an accident, really.
Really?
So my dad had always been a diehard bow hunter, like
Wow.
through and through, and he had wanted me to get involved in hunting when I was about third grade. And honestly, I was so scared to take the test, the hunter safety test.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to fail because I was so worried about straight A's, etc., that I talked myself out of it. And it was the diagram, and it was like, this is the barrel, this is the action. And now it's like, that was so simple, but 10-year-old me was like, oh my God, I'm going to fail. I'm not going to be able to do this. And I had done some stuff with BB guns as part of a father-daughter program called Indian Princesses, where
Nice.
dads and daughters spend time together doing outdoor activities.
Yep.
But the BB gun was too hard to pump, but I always enjoyed it. So fast forward to I was in 8th grade, and my dad's mentor, his name's Chuck Malone, came over to the house one day, had a 22.
Wow.
And he's like, hey, would either of your daughters like to shoot this? And my dad's like, well, Serena might. Kelsey probably won't. And I was mad. I was in the middle of homework. I was a nerd, still am. And I was like, well, you want me to do what now? Okay, so if I go outside and I do whatever you tell me, I can go back to what I was doing. And they're like, yeah, just try this. All right. So we go out in the backyard, and it's an Uberti 22. And they had me shoot offhand. So standing, no
Yep.
support. I wasn't shooting off a bench. I wasn't shooting prone, but I had no idea. I thought that was just, okay, this is what we're doing. So, went through the firearm safety stuff, which I had always known because Dad had always made sure that we knew that. And they're like, all right, point this. They had a chicken silhouette about $50 size at 25 yards. They're like, all right, do this, pull the trigger. All right. Shot, hit the target. And my dad was like, do that again. He's literally shoving a 22 round in my face. And I'm like, that's what you wanted. Can't I go back? He's like, no, you got to do this again. I'm like, all right. Loaded it, did the same thing, hit it again. And they both looked at each other. And I didn't know. I was so confused. I was like,
wow.
And they're like, oh my God, you actually have natural talent. People aren't supposed to do that. And I was like, well, you told me what to do. I executed what you said, and this was the result. And they're like, no, you don't understand. When Chuck was like, I want to take you to my club and take you to a match so you can beat all the guys.
That's
I was
awesome.
like, okay. So I
That's fire.
started
That's
shooting a version of silhouette, so the steel targets, chickens, pigs, turkeys, and rams, and learning with that. So I took a very different path. I went from 22 to a very different caliber called 3220.
Yeah.
Started doing muzzle loading. I had a
I've never even heard of that caliber. What's 3220? Hold on.
It's-
First, I got to hit you with an applause.
Wow. Wow.
'Cause for you to be 15.
What a hilarious story, too.
Yeah.
She's like, can I go do my homework now? What are we doing out here?
I was like, I had no idea.
You're like,
You just
"Get away
thought
from
that
me,
was-
Dad."
yeah.
Get away from me, Dad.
He's
I
like,
wanna-
got the round, like she put this in there.
Looking back now, I completely understand their surprise.
His reaction, yeah.
But at the time, I was like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
And until I started eventually getting more into shooting and coaching, that I was like, yeah, you don't start people off shooting offhand. Like, that is not
Yeah.
the thing that you generally
Yeah.
start people out with.
So let's fast forward a little bit because you're a writer.
Yes.
I've read a few of your articles. Mainly it was a couple years ago, and I love how you write.
Thank you.
And then you went into marketing roles because of that writing.
So I've done a lot of different things over the years. So
Yep.
I've been in the industry for about 7-8 years. I started writing. I always wanted to be a writer, but like my teachers were like, don't become a novelist. You'll be broke. Like I didn't know that this existed,
Yeah.
and I didn't get into shooting until I consider it later compared to a lot of other youth. Like I talked to people that started shooting when they were 12 or 10 or 5. I didn't know what an AR-15 was until I was 16.
Yeah.
So a little bit after I had started, a couple years after I had started basically shooting for the first time. So I started writing for a magazine called Junior Shooters that was basically for juniors by juniors, so generally kids under 21. And it just kind of evolved from there. I went to college thinking I was going to get a history degree because I love history.
Do you really? You're in history?
Oh, look. He perked up on that one.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
okay,
in
okay.
history.
So I spent a lot of time doing all kinds of things with my local historical society. I've gotten multiple sites in my hometown listed on the National Park Service Underground Railroad Network to Freedom.
Wow. What is your hometown?
Richfield, Ohio.
Okay.
So that's a whole nother story
Yeah,
in itself.
yeah.
But essentially, I went to college and I was really unhappy with how it was so politicized.
Yeah.
And they were telling me how to think instead of presenting the information, and it was just so wrong. They instead of saying here's what happened, I'd go and talk with the professor. I'm like, I don't understand. Like you're presenting people's opinions about history, and then you're presenting them as facts. Like you're not actually teaching what's happening. And after I got through that class, I'm like, I can't do this. I can't go on to be a curator, etc. And I had started freelancing under the mentorship of an Alabama writer by the name of John Phillips called
Nice.
Bubba.
Nice.
I met him by accident.
So, hold on real quick. If his nickname is Bubba,
Yep.
that's good people.
Yeah.
Bubba's always a good people.
Yeah, that's it.
He's great.
Yeah.
He taught me so much. Meeting him was an accident too. I'm one of those people that I think everything happens for a reason. And I think that, it was fate. I ended up on a scholarship hunt for the National Wild Turkey Federation. I had never hunted turkey. I was just trying to get money for school. And basically, he was writing for Mossy Oak, and the person assigned to mentor me on this mentorship hunt that I got pulled for, he needed my permission to use a photo. And so I asked him what an outdoor writer was. And he called me up. And he said, all right, do this, do this, do this. Call me in 6 months. Also join POMA. He was one of the founders of POMA.
Wow.
And got
Wow,
me
there's a lot
started.
of layers there. I
There's
think
a lot of layers.
that's so, there's so many things because we talk. One of the reasons we do this, main reason probably, is to pass this information along, right?
Right.
Amplify the voice.
And because we really want to position it as we want to be the voice of people that are like you when you started out, right?
Yeah.
So to hear about the program when you went turkey hunting that's why those things are so important,
Yeah.
and that's why they're
Absolutely.
in place.
And I wouldn't be part of the outdoor industry if it weren't for that experience,
Yeah.
if it weren't for John Phillips.
Right.
If it weren't for Chuck Malone coming over with a 22 and then my dad telling me, hey, stop homework, that it transformed into so many different things. And, being active and competing, wanting to share that knowledge with people, and being able to take those experiences from the outdoors and to share them with people, to educate people. And that's something that I still am continuing to do through, my own social media under Serena Shoots, and also I do work with Ultimate Reloader. So being
Nice.
able to pull all of that together, and kind of circling back to what you had talked about, I ended up getting a marketing degree. I asked John, I said, John, what do I do? I said, I'm at school, and it was my freshman year, and he was like, go to get a marketing degree. I got a marketing degree and an English minor. I got out of school in 3 years instead of 4, and worked my way up in the industry at the
And
same time.
haven't looked back since.
And haven't looked back since.
Look at that pivot. Yeah, that's man. And even that, as much as we thought we knew about you, it's like there's something new every time we talk. Yeah, really.
She's an onion.
It's amazing.
Our hope is sincerely that there is some little girl out there
Yeah.
listening who stumbles on our podcast. Maybe her dad or her uncle are like, hey, listen to this. Is that someone hears a story. We're like, oh, I see in her what I could potentially be.
Yeah.
That's like the whole premise of our podcast. I want to be a shooter. I want to be
That's
an
it.
outdoor writer. I want to. There's
Yeah.
something that I can do outdoors and have a career in, and even if not, I can be a competitive shooter.
Right.
Exposed to the
or even
outdoors.
exposed to it. Yeah. Well, even hearing you talk about your dad and you doing the program, I'm thinking in my head where you're saying that, man, I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old daughter. I don't know. Maybe those programs exist near me and I don't know about it because I'd love to get them into that. And I'm trying to figure out what that looks like. So just that little nugget of information can go a long way.
And it's like there's so many different opportunities that people don't know about. And there's things that I still look at now and I'm like, man, I wish I knew about this when I was younger. Yeah. But like my mom's going to start shooting with me and my dad now. My dad competes with me, and it's really become a family thing, and the people that you meet are amazing. You have your
100%.
shooting family, the media family. I've been so grateful to be a part of this industry because I have a passion for it. And I think if anybody who's listening, regardless of age, gender, what have you, that you can always find a way to incorporate your passion into your life. I truly believe that people should enjoy like what they do and feel like they're being fulfilled and being able to do that. And I'm not saying it's easy. Like, being a freelancer is hard. It is hard work.
100%.
But being able to hear, funny story, my mom was talking to somebody on a customer service line, randomly started talking about, kind of what I do. And the guy's like, oh my God, I need to talk to your daughter. My daughter watches your daughter on YouTube. Like, not on YouTube, on social media.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's awesome.
And my mom called me and patched me in, and it was the most surreal experience of this person that I never met that was at the end of this customer service line that was like, listen, I wanted to get my daughter into shooting. She wanted nothing to do with it. I told her, hey, if you can, what was it exactly that he said? I'm not going to remember the exact words, but basically, hey, will you try this if I can show you another female who's doing this?
Sure.
So he showed her my social media accounts, took her out to the range, and from my understanding, she loves it. I think she's about 12. I've never met her, but hearing that is what makes me excited to do things like that and keep pushing.
Yeah.
Because there's always times where you're like, I'm not shooting well enough, or I'm not doing well enough with A, B, or C. But hearing those things and making it worth it and being able to say, hey, I'm a role model for someone, just like people were role models for me and continue to be.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Is very amazing.
That's it.
And man, we were just talking in the last episode, no gatekeeping.
Yeah.
No gate. My mentor,
Reach one, teach one.
Rob and I have always carried this, even from our recording studio days, is we got to pour into our interns and our employees, because when we die, this information dies with us.
That's
right?
100%.
We adopted that into this part of our business now, like it with Apex Mountain and the podcast. Yeah. Anybody, we don't want to gatekeep.
Yeah.
We want to take all.
Because we're learning as we go.
We're learning
right?
as we go. So if people are giving us information and we're giving off information, that's it. That's all we could ask for. It's a happy.
That's why we created this platform, really, is to do interviews like this and put that information out there. How often are you competing these days?
So I'm getting back into a more regular rhythm of things. So generally, when I first started, I used to shoot every Thursday night with a junior program, which was really great. And then at least 1 or 2 matches a weekend. Yeah. So now I'm going to be getting back into like a once a week schedule, either being at the range or at, at my local range or at a match. But there's also, different training you can do with dry fire. So I have a 22 conversion for my AR from Fulton Armory that I use to practice on reduced targets in the backyard. So I can go out and basically shoot a match and practice with my same Citron S-Tac and just 22 ammunition, but keeping the same weight and everything of my regular rifle. And I'm going to be using that to teach my mom as well as she gets into that.
So I didn't know you were a competitive. I mean, I knew you were a competitive shooter, but it didn't re-register into my mind last year at the POMA Summit. I was like, why is Serena like on the gun line? And then I saw you prone. You were showing somebody, I believe. I was like, she's a competitive shooter.
It didn't click.
I completely, it just escaped me. And then I remember when I saw you, I think that is so cool because I want to talk about our experience last week where all of us and then Tiffany and Tom Clinton.
Tom.
Yep.
King of the one-liners.
One-liners.
Yeah.
We came here, not Houston, but Dallas. South
Yeah,
of
Dallas. Ended up in Mansfield at a ranch.
Spent a few days. Spended? Wow.
Spended. Wow. We spunt.
We spunt. Spunt. We spent a few days at the Cellmark Ranch.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure, honestly, I didn't think Rob and I were the only ones that were going to come out with anything. I was like, oh, Serena's, she has this in the bag.
Yeah, she's going to
shoots
load up on
long
hogs.
range all the
Yeah.
time. She's going to stack
Going to
hogs.
clap 20
It
hogs.
doesn't have anything to do with that,
Yeah.
though.
I know. Yeah.
We realized because the Florida guys showed up and
Showed out.
Just saying, we got
but
hogs,
It was
look.
cool. Like I really liked the idea that you're a competitive shooter and you're out there. Because, usually it's like a single track when you own a firearm, right? Like there's the tactical side of it. I'm super tactical or I'm just super competitive. And the competitive shooter could be 3-gun, the wheel gun, the what is it?
Or even like the
force.
Derek. He started off tinkering with guns, not even shooting.
He's a
Does
gunsmith.
range. He's a gunsmith.
So, but you're like, you venture off into a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
That's cool to see.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot more widespread than people think as well. And that's all. I'll try to keep it short. There's obviously, like you said, until I start talking about it, I realize there's been a lot of things that I've done in a short period of time.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for all of it. But I did start hunting about when I was 16. All the guys from my junior team disappeared. And I was like, oh my God, they're gone. I showed up to practice. I was the only one. Those were my friends. Like, I didn't fit in high school and the regular ways that
Because you
people
were
do.
born to stand out.
That's it.
You
was running the sound effects over there.
Stand out. Okay. So you didn't fit in.
So I really found a home and a family with the junior team, the other shooters, the coaches, and everything that they had to offer. So I told Dad I finally wanted to go hunt deer. And he was like, this is 2 days before youth gun season. I have nowhere to take you. Like, he's been waiting for one of his kids to be like, I want to go hunting. And I tell him at the very last minute. So, again, I think everything happens for a reason. And like you guys were talking about with the hogs, like, hunting is not killing.
Right.
And I grew up eating venison. We still eat, basically I hunt to eat most of the time.
Yep.
And I hunted that whole day, and at the very end of the day, a beautiful 9-point buck came through, and I shot it right around sunset. Same kind of thing. It fell right down. Usually deer run. That wasn't what happened the first time. I looked at my dad, and Dad's like, oh my God, it just fell. And I'm sitting there going, what did I do wrong? It's not supposed to do that. Like, what am I
He's like, you're going to be chasing that feeling.
For the rest of your life.
And people tell me, they're like, hey, you got really spoiled. And I was like, no, I don't think so. Like, I could have taken it that way, but for me it was, hey, this was to get me interested and addicted to hunting.
Yeah.
This was to introduce me and say, this is the feeling. And I have spent many hours in the woods not seeing anything or seeing stuff and deciding not to shoot. But hunting is a completely different thing and a different part of the outdoors and a different tradition that I think also pairs with it. So being able to take someone that is a hunter and introduce them to competitive shooting to become a better marksman and take more ethical shots, or taking someone from competitive shooting and introducing them to that.
More ethical shots. I didn't realize that my 40s was going to be about the outdoors and hunting. I should have had some insight because I started watching Meat Eater with Steven Ranella. I love how he talks about the hunting process. He's not like one of these guys who's like, oh, he eats what he kills.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, I was like, yo, that's amazing. Because really, why do we go to grocery stores? obviously mass production of animals but man, an ethical shot, let the animal not suffer. It's gonna suffer regardless. But if you get a good clean shot, you're able to process the meat. It's not like
Minimized.
yeah, exactly. And you're not just leaving the body there. You harvest it, and then you share it with your family, your friends. That's, to me, that's what has like set my soul on fire for hunting. Like I want to be. I remember like when I hit the hog and I walked up to it, I just put my hand on its side, and I just in myself. I didn't say it out loud. I said it to myself. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's an invasive species, but it's still a sentient being, right?
Right.
And there's some people who might be like, oh yeah, but we're just out here clapping. No. I know for Robin.
I mean, on the
spoke
surface
about-
level, we are, but
yeah,
no,
but
it's way deeper than
something
that.
Way more intimate than just
And I think there's two important points that people forget about
Yep.
when it's related to that. One being, management is important because
Yep.
if you're not helping take care of management, whether it's hogs or deer, population,
Yeah.
then it can really destroy
Say that again.
ecosystems.
Some people don't believe that. Say that again.
If you are not if you don't have hunting, if you don't have hunters who are worried about conservation and ethics, then you have overpopulation, you have disease, and so many things happen that destroy the ecosystems, hurt the population. So hunters are a vital part to keeping these species healthy
Yeah.
and keeping them alive.
I don't know where we were, but the guy told us that a couple of the cattle fell into the
Yep.
yeah into
And they
the
get hurt.
yeah
break their ankles, and
Yeah.
he said most times it doesn't even financially make sense to have the vet come out
Yeah.
and prepare
Yeah.
the ankle.
I
It
was
just
like,
makes sense to put
Same thing happens with prairie dogs out west.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And I think the other thing that people forget about, and this is something that I've really had to experience, is sometimes no matter what you do to make the most ethical shot you have, things happen.
Yeah.
I missed a hog. It turned at the very last second. I rewatched the video so many times, and we spent a bunch of time looking for it. Concluded that I missed it probably by a couple inches as it made that turn, but it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
That's again, hunting is not killing. People are like, oh, well, they have no opportunity. That's a perfect example that that hog had an opportunity and it took it. It didn't know.
Yeah. But it got away.
But it got away.
Yeah.
And people also have to be able to live with the idea that you try to do the best that you can, and that's where training and shooting and marksmanship comes in is important. But there are things that are going to happen the more you hunt. Like archery. Archery has been an entirely different arena for me. And so having arrows that bounce off of trees or twigs or things like that, no matter how clear you try to make sure the area is, things go wrong.
Yeah.
And you have to be cognizant of sometimes, the animal will end up suffering more than you want it to, but you make yourself better from the next time, you learn from the experience. And I also thank the animals for what they're
That's
giving
awesome.
me and my family.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So let's kind of change pace here because we actually are approaching our 30.
I just looked down. It's
amazing
wild.
how quick these conversations happen. What's next for you?
Next for me is producing more of my own content. I've been
cool.
urged to do it for a long time. I've been, published over 300 articles across different publications.
Let's go.
Doing a lot with Ultimate Reloader. Gavin Gear just started putting me on screen there, which I'm very grateful for because I've been reloading for a long time as well. But he's also been encouraging me to not only share stories through Ultimate Reloader, but to get more people involved in marksmanship through my own video content, which is something that I really haven't pursued. I've always been, behind the keyboard, writing, and also, out in the field, but not being visible in front of people.
Right.
And so that's something that I am pushing myself to do this
Love
year
that.
in the hope that I can encourage other people and share those experiences. I would love for more people to get involved in service rifles and
go.
competitive
Yeah.
shooting.
Yeah.
It's got such a rich history. We could talk about that for hours, and a lot of people don't know it exists.
Yeah.
So being able to share that with people, and I'm grateful for the sponsors that I have, Citron, Sierra, and Krieger, that make it possible for me to do that.
Yeah.
It's just huge. So that's what's next for me is being able to put that out, continuing to work with Ultimate Reloader and trying to share these different messages and just educate people to find their own passions in the outdoors,
Let's
wherever
go.
that is.
And how can people find you?
So you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube under Serena Shoots.
Okay.
And you can also find my website, Serena Juknowski, but probably aren't going to be able to
Yes,
spell that.
Yeah.
So if you just type in Serena, Serena, and Shoots, you'll find me.
Okay.
Sweet. What is your EDC?
Ooh. I do a lot of different things.
Okay.
Lately, I've been
Really?
carrying a SIG 365.
Okay.
One of my favorites is I really like my Kimber Micro 9 in a Falco holster.
Yep.
So Falco makes some really great
Yeah,
stuff, and the
yeah.
people are wonderful. So there's a lot of good guns. There's a lot of different holsters. That's a whole nother
Oh man.
Whole
There's
nother-
Yeah,
rabbit
there's
hole.
like you said, we could have this conversation just about. So, if there was one piece of advice you give to someone listening,
young
well,
lady.
yeah, we'll say young lady that might stumble across this podcast, what would it be?
I guess I would say what I think I would say to a younger version of myself.
Sure.
Because I often look back and I'm like, I remember sitting there not knowing what I was going to do. Is that everything happens for a reason, and trust and find and pursue your passions. You know,
That's good.
learn from people. There are going to be some people that you don't want to learn from, that
Yeah.
you have to then learn who to trust. But basically, don't let anybody tell you you can't do something.
Yeah, amen.
Pursue it
Yep.
on your own, and if you put in the effort and the time and you have the passion, you can make anything happen.
The results will follow. Amen.
Amen.
Don't be
That's
afraid to
awesome.
ask questions.
Yeah.
Oh, I ask
Yeah.
so many questions.
That's
love
cool.
that.
Serena, thank you for being
We
on our
definitely
show.
could do a part 2 of this
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
We need a part 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
Well,
you so much for having me. I
Yeah,
appreciate
you're
it.
awesome.
And for anyone listening, I know it probably jumped all over, but if you have questions about anything specific, feel free to reach out to me and be happy to try to help guide where I can.
That's the theme of the freak. Hit us something on there. That's been the theme of the day. I love it.
So that said, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend.
That's it.
Go buy a firearm.
Tag
go
us,
outside.
duff us.
Yeah, go shoot something and have fun. Go
That's it.
exercise
Have
your-
fun.
your right to
Create
bear arms.
some memories with your brothers and sisters. And
Hats off.